I'm Jordana Barton-Garcia. I am a senior fellow with Connect Humanity. Formerly, when I was working with Brownsville about 3 years ago, when we started conversations about solving the digital divide in Brownsville, I was with the Federal Reserve. So I've had kind of an extended career in connecting on this topic. I did the first ranking of cities, which revealed that the Federal Reserve revealed that Brownsville was the least connected city in the country with fixed internet subscriptions.
And I'd like to start at the beginning, because whenever I meet up with you, Jordana, I always want to ask this story, how you discovered the homework gap and the problems the Rio Grande Valley had, which were going unreported, of connecting to the internet. Tell us how it all started for you.
So it was right here in Cameron County and Hidalgo and in the Rio Grande Valley, because I was doing research for the Federal Reserve because I was responsible for the microeconomy, right? Where are we creating inclusive economies where everybody could participate? How do we break the cycle of intergenerational poverty and so forth? And indeed, it was the people of the Texas border colonias who they were talking I wasn't asking that question, but they were talking to me about the issue of not having connectivity at home and how it impacted their participation in the workforce, how it impacted their children in school that couldn't do their homework. And so I learned from them about the homework gap, even though I didn't know it was called that at the time. And then together with the community of Brownsville and the Colonia residents and others across the lower Rio Grande border, we worked together.
This happens from time to time, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Okay, sorry, keep going, and I'll edit that.
So we worked together to look at all the possibilities for how to close the digital divide, to understand the issue, how we got here, and what could be done. What are the best practices? Learning from the best in ideas that we'd bring to the table. And Brownsville chose the public-private partnership model, a brilliant model. And BTX Fiber got the bid for the last mile. So it's really creating a win-win, especially for the community that gets fiber to the home network. And it's so important and why Brownsville is a leader in this for the country is because they didn't just, they weren't, you're told, well, you should accept what you get, right? That, the old, the infrastructure of the analog economy is good enough for you all, right? And the mayor and city manager and everybody said, no, that's not good enough. We want what everybody else has, what affluent communities have, and we can take it into our own hands because we've studied the issue and we know how to create a win-win and a great inclusive economy, right? So they're supporting entrepreneurship with BTX Fiber to be a partner in this. They get what the city gets what it needs to provide services, from public safety to economic development and promoting entrepreneurship to educational equity and all the things that we get, right, and access to healthcare, innovations in telehealth. They're going to be able to do all of that because they address the issue and they didn't wait for somebody else to solve it for them. And these are assets, infrastructure assets that all cities need, all communities need, because it creates efficiency. It is the best way to create value for our economy and to include as many people in the economy as possible. Yes, every home is going to have access to fiber to the home, right? They built it into the plan, and their view of our economy, right, and our responsibility in our economy to take action to create equity, right? We can do that. They know how to do that. Connect Humanity is, of course, talking to BTX Fiber, the firm that the nonprofit that I'm with now, to help finance, because that's what we do under the Community Reinvestment Act, to help finance these networks and then help Brownsville be a model for the rest of the border and other places, right? Because we also fund kind of the planning that I was able to do with Brownsville and sit at the table together and look at best practices and how to solve this. And that's what they can help other communities as well as we look at this region, the South Texas Triangle, and really create a vibrant, instead of being known, as the mayor said, as the least connected, as the persistent poverty region, we can actually break that cycle of poverty, and we can break that vicious cycle and create a virtual cycle, because once you invest in the infrastructure for people, they'll do the work. They'll do the innovative work, and just like a lot of the best innovations in affordable housing with Community Development Corporation of Brownsville and others are the best in the world. Likewise, we're going to unleash that human potential of all the young people, of all the people across the generations in Brownsville and Cameron County that are going to create entrepreneurial ideas and solutions.
But you're aware, thank you, you're aware of the opposition, you're aware of the criticism that's come Brownsville's way from the private sector. They've had a lot of pushback, saying, well, you're interfering in the free market, and the free market could have dealt with this. Your reaction to that? So the mayor's had to put up with some, he had to respond to that.
Yeah, no, that's very interesting. So I'm trained in community development. So as we studied the issue, of how we got here, it's very clear that some stakeholders, and I would say not just the incumbent ISPs, but very powerful national incumbent ISPs, not the local ones like BTX Fiber and and the other smaller providers, right? But yes, you do have that, and it's it benefits the status quo benefits these national providers. I mean, just following the money will be very, very valuable for people, because they made a lot of money, for example, in the pandemic with the digital divide, right? The state and everybody else bought the highest cost of service hotspots, right? That didn't work in a lot of communities, and traditionally they have gotten most of the federal funds, right? If you look back historically, so this is an incredible understanding that Brownsville showed, that actually we can create a win-win. It doesn't have to be about maximizing profits like it is for these large corporations. It can be about creating an inclusive economy, and that's just good business. It's just smart to invest in your own people and to get what you need by partnering together. Public-private partnership, it's actually one of the best practices in the country and in the world. So that is what reality really is that you're using finance for good, not to take advantage of people, not to tell them to settle for less, right? But to really take it in their own hands and be competitive in the 21st century and beyond, and really bring the value to people, and to do the things they need to do for economic development.
And last question, this is a huge milestone for Brownsville to get this far and to unveil the groundbreaking. Did you ever feel they would get this far?
Oh yes, I knew they would. They had all the information, and they had the mayor and city managers and the people at the table, the young people at the table that researched and found out, the best, right? So I was able to bring some of those case studies, and they went beyond and learned everything they could to make the best decision for their community, for bringing value to their community. And now we're working on workforce development opportunities and all the great things that come out of it, with experiential learning and paid internships for students in building these networks, fiber splicing and all of that, IT, right, to run the help desk for the network and all of that.
Well, Jordana Barton, thank you so much for today's interview. And
thank
congratulations.
You. Thank you. I'm excited for Brownsville and Cameron County.
Thank you.
Hopefully.